1. So I work the overnight shift at a casino hotel. When I came into work that night, I had an email waiting for me, explaining to me that the band for the next day would be checking in at between 2 to 3 a.m., that their deposit had already been taken care of, the rooms already checked in the system and pre-keyed. All I had to do was verify ID of one of the names supposed to pick up the band's key packets and hand them over. This is literally all the heavy lifting. Any problems usually occur when the entertainment objects to leaving the $100 deposit, or the jam-up of me being the only one at the desk inputting everyone's IDs, taking those deposits, and getting them all to sign the registration cards, when they would rather chit-chat or complain at the wait. This should take literally 2 seconds. At the appointed time, a gentleman who looks like Walter White from Breaking Bad comes in and identifies himself as being the manager of the band. Great, I say. I have all the key packets right here. I just need to pick at your photo ID to verify you are you. At this, he points at his long t-shirt sleeve with the band's name. There it is. I'm the band's manager. He says this with a bit of attitude, like I should be lucky to speak with him. Someone who knows the band. Okay, I just need to see your ID. He then shows me a credit card, which I then ask again for ID with a photo. Oh man, dear listeners, this guy became a huge jerk face. Aggressive, swearing, saying how this was ridiculous and unacceptable, how they have been on tour for months and this was unacceptable, how they have played here before but never had a problem, how he has these artists waiting in the bus outside, which technically I can't see. He pulls out his laptop and shows his emails. He pulls out his passport, but shockingly refuses to show it to me. When I excitedly point out that would work if I could just see it for a moment, he sneers at me instead, and tells me we might have to get security. I'm dumbfounded. Like security isn't going to take your side, dude. He is stomping around the lobby, fuming at his treatment, and the wait that literally he could solve in seconds. How he's going to bring up his treatment with the entertainment manager. They are an angel who have apologized to me for previous jerk entertainment groups, so I'm not worried. What have I done wrong? Ask for ID to verify as I was asked? Instead of calling for security at the guy's suggestion, I call the manager at the sister hotel next door and say, Hey, the band is here to check in. I have everything ready to go, but I have an email asking me to verify the identity of the person picking up the keys first. And the manager is refusing to show me any ID, even though he has a passport at least. It is probably him. He has band merch on and is here at the right time with a bunch of materials like a laptop with the confirmation. Is this good enough to go ahead and check them in? Manager has me read the email I got from the daytime manager word for word and decides no, we need to check the ID. He confirms again that the manager has a passport, but is refusing to show it to me. He decides for me to give him a few minutes and he would come over and get this guy to show him his passport. While waiting for my manager, the band manager again begins ranting how his shirt and his laptop prove how he is who he says he is. How could it be anyone else? Me, being a dumbass that loves answering questions, tries answering by giving him the example that, for instance, that he could have pushed someone down and taken their bag or something. He was not pleased at this. I wasn't saying he was a thief or trying to be rude, just answering his question because seriously, a groupie or fan sneaking to where luggage is unattended would have no difference in what he's offering me, hence me wanting ID. I had already told him before I believed he was who he said he was, even to my manager on the phone while he was listening, but he didn't get the comparison, I guess. Based on his attitude, he thought we should recognize him and his band on sight like they were the Beatles or something. My manager arrives, and while a little less volatile with him, band manager still gives him a hard time. Eventually, he does hand over the passport, and apparently his passport name is a little different than his entertainment name. But along with the credit card he showed me earlier, it is fine. I hand him the keys, and the guy is still slamming things around and sneering at me, even as he brings in the band. My manager decides to stick around a little bit until this guy leaves, and thank God he did, because apparently he and the main entertainer were supposed to have Keurig coffee makers in their suites, and they weren't there. We got these Keurigs from the sister hotel a few hours later for the band manager to pick up in the morning, since he didn't want to be disturbed. My manager says I wasn't in the wrong and did a good job, but maybe shouldn't have answered that question implying he could have been a thief. Fair. It still blows my mind how the drama could have been avoided by just showing me the ID he had. It was supposed to be so simple. It made me feel really negatively about the band, but that probably isn't fair, since so many bands are nice but have jerk managers. Anyway, thanks for letting me vent. 2. I should note that my boss had an important meeting that day with investors, and this guy stopped them before the meeting saying he'd like to invest in property with my boss. I walk in for my shift and my boss's wife, who was working at the time, pulls me aside and warns me about him. He had been apparently calling people he knew on the hotel phone for about an hour, 2 hours after checkout time, telling them about this crazy opportunity to make $100 million if they'd simply come pick him up at the hotel.
Well, you're gonna hate missing out on this. I'm sure I will. I do hate it. Come pick me up and I'll go to my office and draft up the papers tomorrow. Bam! $100 million.
He hangs up, starts talking to me.
Darling, I'm a crazy freak for Jesus. He's my best friend.
Oh.
Ma'am, you ever heard of Toby Mac?
Mm-hmm.
I'm good friends with Toby Mac and a bunch of Christian singers. I'm a famous Christian singer myself.
Oh, that's good.
You probably never heard of me, though, because me and my one band were playing before you were even thought of.
Oh?
I'm guessing you were born like 2000?
Nope.
96?
Yep.
Well, still, you wouldn't have heard of me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't want you to think I'm wanting a relationship. Honey, I got my pick of women, lots of women.
He said he was 60.
You know President Trump? He's my best friend. We just became good friends recently. We are going to work together to help the vets and the homeless.
Oh, well, that's good to hear.
I literally bought land today to make my plan happen. My buddy Trump is coming on his private jet to talk about it. Me, Trump, and your boss are gonna make it happen. That's why I told your boss I need his help to help me spend $100 million. Because I don't know how I'd be able to spend it all. I don't want any money, just want to help people.
Well, that was nice of you.
Yeah.
Fist bump.
You're my friend now, too. I know you can't take gifts here, but if I see you out, I'll get you something real nice.
Oh, no, that's all right. I don't need anything. Eventually, his brother, who checked him in the night before, reluctantly comes and drags him out of the room. I later go check on the room to make sure they didn't leave anything behind, turn TVs and AC off. I walk in and one TV is cranked to 100 and the other just on static. I then found a creepily written note that said,
"Bucket list,"
with some unusual spelling.
Ocho Rio, Jamaica. Nigeria, Africa. Make somebody laugh till. Drive car you when. Skydiving.
3. Repeat guest checked in a few days ago. Housekeeper recognizes him the next day as complainers. You know that's a bad sign when housekeeping recognizes someone. Quick note, privately owned business. Worker 1 checked them into room 118. Worker 2 receives complaint of smelly blanketed mattress 2 days later. They inform them that rooms are cleaned daily and linens as well. Lady says,
I didn't say they weren't.
They're moved to room 208. Yesterday, they call me to say they would like to hold a room for their daughter for the night. Okay, what time will they be arriving? 7 at the latest. I know you guys aren't here after 10, definitely around 7. I'll save it for you. I have the same suite type available, and it's just across the hall from you. How does that sound? That sounds good, but I'm not sure she wants the same type. When she gets here, you can go over the different rates with her? Certainly. Just hold it under my card, and we can get it on hers when she checks in. Okay, if she's not here by 7, should I give you a call? Yeah, that's fine. 9:45, I call and he tells me they will be late, not sure when. I tell him we will put the keys in the safe, and we can settle the bill tomorrow. I put them in the same suite type just across the hall. Today, before I even clock in, caller ID says 208. I answer, and nobody responded, so I hung up. 8 a.m., the husband calls and says, We've never had any problems here before. Lie. The last few rooms we've been in smell horrible. I've opened windows and Febreze, but it stinks. I was hoping you could move me somewhere else. I just can't take it. Yet you stayed in there all day without telling us anything. At this point, I'm suspicious. I call and tell the head supervisor and she can't believe these people. She checked the room before putting them in there, but she said go ahead and move them. I go ahead and check 211, and I'm sniffing and it smells like daisies. I turn the heat on for them. Okay, this should be good enough for him. I call and tell him. He asks me about a 2-bed suite. I say I don't have any of those close to your daughter. He seems peeved, but Well, we can just discuss the options when I come down. I have the room all ready, if that's what you decide. Now I'm waiting for them to come down and get mad at me for putting his daughter in the same suite type as his, when he didn't want to tell me herself to go over the options, expecting to pay for the $76 room when she stayed in the $109 room. Have mercy on my soul. Update. The wife came down and asked for her new keys. While I'm making her keys, I mentioned that I need her daughter to come and pay for the room and sign the reg card.
Just put it on ours. We will settle everything at the checkout. It will be a late checkout.
Okay, you aren't even going to ask if that is okay? Can't wait for them to leave tomorrow. I talked to the employee who checked them in. Apparently they moved from 118, hitting the ground floor, to 212, said it was small, to 210, that smelled, before they requested to move again to 208, which eventually also smelled somehow like... dude. 4 months ago, a headhunter called me to ask if I was available for a new job opportunity. My job at this time was assistant FOM, city hotel, big chain, low salary. I used to live on low budget with unreliable co-workers, and all the crazy stuff if you work with people in the first place. But in addition, I moved to this place because I did it for my girlfriend, but the relationship didn't survive. New job offer, huge, and I mean huge salary raise. Full FOM position, holiday surcharges, working at the sea, and I got an offer to live in the staff flat with my own area for a low budget. Geez, what a catch. This hotel, 50 to 100 rooms, run by a hotel manager, owner are a rich industry family, is far away from everything. Slow internet connection, no Tinder, only bad matches, nearly no telephone signal, and low population, cause it is a straight holiday location for the summer. These were my first thoughts. Good job but no life comfort, or something like lifestyle, no gym in the area, all cities are far away, and if you want to eat a pizza, go to your own kitchen, no delivery. But it was also a new start for me, so I took my chance. The hotel manager was a tall and fat guy with beard. He ruled like a king, and I quickly understood that I am his vassal, and that there happened really strange things. Cash payment is salary, very unusual in my country. Hiring people, firing people. Department line switched 2 times in this year, but my most loved example was a custom-tailored bellboy outfit for a bellboy, who had to work at the reception because all people left. They spent money for bullshit, no control from headquarters, just internal fighting. I was in the middle of this mess and thought, WTF, nobody is seeing what happens here? I decided to ask the deputy hotel manager. Are we in the black? He replied, yes. Okay. To be honest, I felt like a fraud, earning good money, going with the flow, but knowing that there is something too strange. 1 week ago, we had the following structure. No housekeeping line, no restaurant line, no banquet line, but a quality manager, hotels between 50 and 100 rooms. Hotel manager, deputy hotel manager, assistant hotel manager, FOM, assistant FOM, marketing manager. What the fuck? Even when I am writing it down, it sounds so wrong. But I am also a human being, and just the reception guy. Won't be that stupid to put my ass on the line, when I had not enough insights. To support the departments, which are free, housekeeping, F&B, banquet, the assistant hotel manager had to jump into this mess. She was a 24-year-old girl, beginner in hospitality, and with a lot of effort. When I first met her, she was pure motivation and full of energy, but inexperienced. So the king decided that she had to do accounting, HR, housekeeping, banquet. She spent 12 to 24 hours in the hotel and worked her butt off. In the evenings, I went to her office and talked a little about her situation. She did not complain, told me she loves her job, loves the team, and just wants to be a part of a success story. I told her that she has to be careful, there is something going on. Last year I was in kind of the same situation as she was, and I was trying to protect her because attractive girl. Then everything happened so quick. 2 weeks ago, the hotel manager was missing. His contract expired spontaneously. Yesterday, they fired the assistant hotel manager, the quality manager, and some girl from the breakfast who was the girlfriend of the hotel manager. The connection between all these people was the hotel manager hired them. But guess who else was hired by him? So the execution was, in one of our convention rooms was this bitch from the owners sitting and firing people. The deputy hotel manager went to the other people and asked, "Please follow me for a walk." Straight to the bitch, bam bam. After 2 minutes they kicked them out, escorting them to their workplace to grab personal stuff, and then with house band to their car. When they escorted the assistant hotel manager, I went to have a smoke and to walk into them randomly. The look in her face. In the morning she was so full of energy and good feelings, but I was able to see that something broke in her. Damn, what a shame. So fuck it, who's next? I went back to my office, the deputy hotel manager came in, and I asked him straight, "Do you want to escort me as well to the bank battle?" He closed all the doors and told me something about, "We don't know why this happened, blah blah blah." Today, new hotel manager out of the dark, and I go straight into her office. "So you survived it? WTF? Should I thank you?" The hotel manager was a shame, yes. But the headquarters was blind to what happens. And all his hirings were good and straight people with a passion for the job. If they won't kick me out, I'm number 3 in the rank. I would say, chaos isn't a pit, chaos is a ladder. But do I want this? 5. This happened last week. It's a bit of a doozy. I'll tell the story as it happened to me because I'm still a little confused about it. I work front desk at a pretty nice little boutique hotel. Early in the day, we hear over our radio that 725, which was due out that day, extended their stay another couple of days. Later, I'm up at the desk with my coworker A when our AGM comes out to talk to us. He says that 725's card was declined for the extended stay, and he was going to deactivate their keys so that they had to stop by the front desk. It is apparently at this time that housekeeping enters their room. This room had a do not disturb for their whole stay so far, which was 8 days. An hour or so later, the AGM and head housekeeper come up to us and give us the situation. When housekeeping went in the room, they found a good amount of blood on the sheets, on the floors, in the bedroom. They also found a whole lot of male enhancement products in the bedside table. Hard dick pills, numbing sprays, lube, you name it. Now, 725 was on the radar for being oddball since day one. The room was booked under a certain name, but that person was not staying there. Instead, it was for a woman, J, and in the notes, stated that if anyone called asking for J, to say she wasn't there. We were initially told she had a stalker ex-boyfriend, and of course we would never give out her location, so no issues, but it was definitely odd. Also on the reservation was a note that man, S, was permitted access to the room. S had 4 kids, a late elementary-aged boy, 2 middle-school-aged girls, and 1 late-teenaged girl. My coworker A had seen S down in our laundry room with the 3 younger kids, and had rung them up for a plethora of snacks. She described S to me as kind of a drug dealer type, skinny white dude with slicked back greyish hair. We knew about the older teen because of a complaint of cigarette smells coming from 725. She was the one who answered the door when housekeeping manager knocked, and was apparently extremely sheepish and quiet, not making eye contact, and looking at her feet the whole time. When asked about the smell, she said, "I don't smoke, but I'll ask my dad when he gets back." To my knowledge, S had a separate room from the kids, and then 725 for him and J, but the eldest daughter was only seen inside 725. The younger 3 kids had not been seen for a day or so, so we believe they had been checked out, and that it was just J, S, and the oldest daughter staying in 725. Keep in mind here, 725 was one of our suite rooms, which only had a single king bed, but also has a living area with some couches and a dining table. Now back to the discovery. Adding to my managers, the room was a total pigsty, obviously had been smoked in, and of course, there was blood and the dick pills. Things got weird then, and all of us are wondering why a dad and daughter are staying in a single king room. Also, Jay had not been seen much during this long stay, if at all. No one ever knew what she looked like. So what we know at this point is there's a dad and his teenage daughter staying in a room with only one bed, and there's blood, and there's a lot of male enhancement pills and creams and sprays right next to the bed, so there's something obviously not right going on. We were asked if we'd seen S bring any other men up to the room, but none of us had. My AGM contacts the police, who show up not long after. At this point, we're worried about sex trafficking. The teenage daughter, when she was seen around the lobby, was extremely quiet, always had a thick hoodie on, with the hood up around her face, and made herself very scarce. Our head housekeeper said she was super strange when asked about the smoking in the room as well. Like maybe she could have been on some drugs. The cops come and get the rundown, and they're worried about the same thing. At this point, we're wondering, is that even her dad? How old is she? My AGM takes the cops up to 725 to have a look around, and us up at the front desk are trying to calculate what's happening. Once the police had looked around and gotten a statement from the AGM and head housekeeper, they dip out, and say to call them again when S gets back so they can question him. Our AGM tells us when S returns, just remake his keys and act normal. But tell him when he's back. It gets to 3 p.m, and I'm counting my bank at the end of my shift, getting ready to go home, when one of my co-workers comes through the office and says, "He's back!" As I walk out the front door a couple minutes later, I see the teen daughter sitting on a couch in our lobby, and I watch her dad pass me through the door I was leaving through. The next morning, I found out after I left that evening, S was confronted by the police, and that he and the daughter were questioned. Luckily, it seems she was not being trafficked, but their story was still weird. From what I've been told, the situation was that both J and S were both in the process of getting divorced from their respective spouses, and were sleeping with each other. The man who we were told not to talk to her about was apparently her husband. I guess S was using the room with his kids during the day, but would send them somewhere else in the evenings, and he and J would boink each other's brains out, hence all the boner pills. Also, S turned out to be a recovering heroin addict, and we think his daughter is or was on some pretty serious drugs and trying to get clean. According to my AGM, the daughter was still weird during questioning, and couldn't answer basic questions about her dad like what was his birthday and what he did for a living. S and J and the daughter were all kicked out. For the very least, smoking in the room and everything settled. There's still quite a few questions that we all have, like where the blood came from, why the room is such a mess, why they had the DND on their door for so long. It was all really weird. But I'm just glad nobody was getting hurt. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Coahw, number 31. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. When's this go up? Ooh, it's Christmas Eve. Right, well, we will have something a little bit different tomorrow. Heartwarming stories in some form. I've got 5 for it at the moment. I've got 1 more to record, so we're pretty good with that. And I thought, anyone who wants, not everyone will be watching videos on Christmas Day, but for those who want it, might be a nice little pick-me-up. Okay, and with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.